No ID is meant for a sane audience. No ID may contain liberty-oriented content. Pinko discretion is advised. Now, here's No ID with Paul Banducci and Scott Moskowitz.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to No ID, North Idaho's mainstream media deconstruction. I'm Scott.
Hello, Internet. I'm Paul. Welcome back. It's good to be here.
It's another in-person recording, rocket-fueled by the French press.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. And also, this video thing that I'm reluctantly, but apparently necessarily engaged in now.
The important thing here is that I won.
Yeah, you did say in the very beginning, and you were sort of confused as to why we weren't doing it. And I guess, I don't know. I was sort of like listening to one person in particular who was like, don't do it. And then the other 50 people who were like, do it. And because I didn't want to do it, I was like, well, what about the one person who said, don't do it?
Yeah, it's totally fair. And I went along with you because, quite frankly, dude, you're the dude. You're the guy who knows. You're the expert. You did this for a living. So I wasn't going to argue. And the guy whose advice that you followed also has been doing it for a living for a long time. So this is one of the few times I actually was happy to and willing to trust the experts. And it turns out they were wrong. Whoop, whoop.
Experts.
Hey-o.
Experts say.
That's what I get for trusting the experts.
You know what? Here, well, we can consult with some experts straight away here.
Heck yeah.
With regard to inland northwest avalanches. I don't know if you know, but a lot of experts weighing in.
Well, take a look at this. Snow-covered mountains across the inland northwest.
Mountains.
A beautiful sight to see, especially if you are a skier or snowboarder. And while you might be itching to get that fresh powder this weekend, experts warn not doing so cautiously can be deadly.
For many skiers and snowboarders,
the experts are always trying to tell you exactly that.
Wait, so the breaking news, if you're not careful, things could be dangerous.
We're all gonna die!
Itching to get that fresh powder this weekend, experts warn not doing so cautiously can be deadly.
For many skiers and snowboarders, a backcountry landscape buried in fresh snow near Lookout Pass feels like a gift from Mother Nature. But snow experts also see something else.
Do you think they were like a gift from God? Delete. Mother Nature.
Lookout Pass feels
snow
like
experts. I want to know how one gets into the field of being a snow expert.
I even looked that up.
Is that? Did you?
When I pulled this clip, I was like, "What do you mean the experts? What does it mean?" You'll hear in a moment.
I can't wait.
The actual title.
Lookout Pass feels like a gift from Mother Nature, but snow experts also see something else.
We're seeing very large avalanches. Like no triggered avalanche is small right now. They're all big enough to injure, bury, or kill a person.
Izzy Davis, forecaster with the Idaho Panhandle Avalanche Center, says her organization has seen more skier-triggered avalanches over the last 4 days than they have throughout the whole snow season.
All it takes is a skier being on or near a 30-degree slope to trigger those avalanches.
So there you go. That chick, Izzy Davis, is a snow expert.
The Idaho was that the Idaho Panhandle Avalanche?
I looked it up. It's a nonprofit. It's not a state agency. That was the first thing I was like, how much is Izzy
about to Google. It was like
Izzy's salary.
How big is the budget for this thing?
Izzy's making $300K a year. No, it's actually a nonprofit. So I breathed a sigh of relief.
Me too.
Now, when you're skiing those groomers at places like Lookout, you really don't have a lot to worry about. However, once you get into the backcountry and areas like this, things start to change.
If you're not careful, you don't know what the slope conditions are, you can trigger an avalanche just by skiing across or boarding across something because it's unstable.
John Batchelder leads the ski patrol team at Lookout Pass. His team has calls from skiers who are lost or need help in the backcountry at least once a week. And all this fresh snow brings a new layer of concern.
Sounds like a lot.
It can go so quickly.
Take a look. It is slopes like this that Batchelder is worried about.
So quickly.
Take a look. It is slopes like this that Batchelder is worried about. He says they're not hard to access, especially if you have a snowmobile. But bringing the right equipment here is crucial. Things like an avalanche beacon, a shovel, and whistles.
Having the knowledge and the ability to use your equipment
Both Batchelder and Davis say before heading out to the backcountry to enjoy the new snow, you should have a rock-solid plan in place on how to stay safe.
Sticking to low-angle open meadows is a great way to safely enjoy the new snow right now.
Because that's what I work really hard. Like, I'm going to take my snowmobile, I'm going to bust my ass and get into the backcountry to hit the bunny hills.
The snow experts say avoid black diamonds and blue circles and green squares. Just stick to you know what? Just go to the lodge and have some chili.
Yeah. In fact, don't even ski, just sled.
Yeah, I
Build a snowman.
This in the wake of an avalanche in Northern California.
I saw that
out near Tahoe.
I didn't see it happen, but I saw. Yeah, I saw it in the news.
Several deaths, including one of the ladies I think was from Boise that I heard.
It was if memory serves, it was 11 people missing. And when I tuned in 3 or 4 days ago, it was still 9 missing they were looking for. So I don't know what the final tally is, but kind of a big one.
Yeah,
Not
big
so
one.
Fun.
And so I was I saw a lot of different stories covering avalanche danger in Montana and Oregon and Washington and basically everywhere.
It is a bummer. I mean, like, that is not the way I'd want to go, and kind of a crummy way to have your day and be like, this is so much fun. No, it's not fun anymore. Yikes.
I mean, not to get too morbid, but I did wonder that too. Like, are you just buried alive and you just like slowly die over the course of 4 days? I mean,
I would wager. No, I'm not a snow expert. So I can't tell you with certainty.
What do you do for a living? I'm a snow expert.
I study snow. I mean, well, that'd be a meteorologist almost, kind of. Anyways, I think it would be I would wager it would be actually fairly quick, but also still awful as you quickly suffocate and are crushed.
There's just not enough. The snow's too dense. There's not enough air. I have no idea.
So much weight on top of you. It's heavy. It pushes you around, and who knows how many feet of snow just roll you through, dump on top of you, and then you're just stuck 12 feet down or whatever. Plus it could slam you into trees, slam you into rocks. You roll around. You don't know which way is up. You can start digging and you're actually digging the wrong way, which of course they say spit. They always say, how do I know this? I don't even know how I know this, but if you find yourself in this situation, spit and try to figure out which way the spit is going. And that's how you know which way is up, because they have found people dead who have dug the wrong directions trying to get out of an avalanche. If they are fortunate enough to not get crushed by the weight and the pressure of all of the snow, and if they're fortunate enough to not get slammed against objects.
See, I wouldn't think it would be a bad way to go if you did just you whacked your head against a tree stump or a rock and then you were just out and suffocated.
Yeah, that'd be a mercy.
But if you found yourself like everything is settled, the avalanche is over, and you're alive, and you don't know where's up. Yeah, that's as bad as it gets. Yeah,
that would suck. Yeah, no, hard pass. That's a hard pass.
Rather tear my Achilles.
This feels like in high school when they'd roll out the TV in front of the classroom and they'd be like, "What? Don't do drugs, kids, because any drug will kill you." This kind of feels like that. It's like what you don't know about the mountains. Yes. Will kill you.
Yes, that would be on the tube TV that was ratchet strapped to the cart on casters.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I sure
you pick
do.
Up what I'm throwing down. But that's what this feels like. Is like in kids, if you're not careful, the mountains will kill you.
Where is that? Oh, I reorganized. There it is.
We live up kind of in the mountains.
So you need to know about snow.
Consult with a snow expert.
We're all gonna die!
Don't snowboard or ski.
Or have fun.
Fun is dangerous.
Fun is dangerous. Life is dangerous. You should probably the 10 out of 10 Canadian doctors agree life is dangerous. Just kill yourself.
Stay safe. You mean the silver medalist Canadians? Yeah, suck on that, Canada. USA. Let's switch gears here.
That's all right. They won in curling, I think. So they've got that consolation.
They did?
prize.
Oh, I didn't even hear.
Or at least they medaled or something. I don't know.
Good job, Canada.
Although I did find it really hilarious. I think we beat the Swiss. The Americans beat the Swiss or something. And somebody commented like, it's the most American thing ever to beat all the other countries at sports where these sports for these other countries are things they do 24/7.
Yes,
they're cultural.
it's like their national identity.
They're like national sports. And for us, they're things we don't think about except for 3 weeks out of the year, once every 4 years.
We just go there and kick their ass.
Like nobody cares about curling except for 3 weeks. Once every 4 years, and we still medal.
Yeah, the rest of the time we're just like huffing kratom.
Yeah, but like Sweden, it's the national pastime,
That's so true. That's got to be really frustrating.
It's like one of the most American things to do.
It really is. Apple pie, big tits, and winning gold medals, even though we don't care about the sport. Here is the speaking of experts and warning us that we're all going to die if we don't follow their expert advice. The Panhandle Health, the ever so valuable and they care about us citizens and our health. And here's their latest public proclamation.
Today, the Panhandle Health District put out an advisory warning against the use of kratom.
Yeah. Kratom's a hot topic right now all across Pacific Northwest, being debated in city council chambers and by state lawmakers. On Monday morning, the Panhandle Health District issued an advisory warning against the use of all kratom products, saying it's addictive and has a risk for overdose. The health district recommends people especially avoid kratom products containing 7-OH. They suggest seeking medical advice for side effects, addiction, or withdrawal symptoms, and to report any adverse reactions. But some people say,
what if I seek out a snow expert, like my old cocaine dealer?
Only if you're addicted to snow.
Well,
Panhandle Health is essentially a smaller, less important, but equally self-important version of the CDC, whereby everything is an epidemic, everything is a problem, everything will kill you, everything should be regulated. The CDC a couple years back even had the gall to put out that racism was an epidemic, was a public health issue and an epidemic.
Right.
That gun ownership was a public health issue and an epidemic. It's like, so we call it, there's actually a term for this. It's called mission creep. And it's an issue that goes on across damn near every government agency at every level known to man. Is basically once that agency has fulfilled what it was supposed to do 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and it has nothing left to do, but of course it won't and can't die. Now it has to find other reasons to justify its own existence. And people have to find reasons to justify their $100,000 a year bureaucrat jobs. So these agencies never go away. We never stop funding them. And so they can just sit there and think and go, well, what can we ban next? What can we regulate next? Today's flavor of the month or flavor of the day is kratom.
How can we manage the public harder?
Yeah.
But some people say Monday's announcement is unfair.
Yes.
Gina Rogers lives within
Leave
the
us
health
alone.
district and has been using kratom for about 10 years to help her focus after being diagnosed with ADD. According to her,
which that's another thing too, being diagnosed with the phony baloney nonsense known as I am the gatekeeper of how much attention thou shalt be paying to any given topic, and I think you should be paying more attention than you are. Ergo, you need Pfizer produced amphetamine.
Sponsored by Pfizer. Well, see here, kratom. Panhandle Health would be all about it. Be like, it's FDA approved. Have at it. So is bleach.
According to her, there's a big difference between natural kratom and the synthetic variety.
Correct. Just like, okay, I'm sorry. You got to break this for a second again, because just like everything else, it is nuanced. It is complex. The market figures out what it wants and also susses out the good from the bad. Not with 100% perfection, because there's no such thing.
Not in this life.
But it allows people, consumers, the choice and the opportunity to pursue other avenues of treatment, of cope, of whatever you want to call it. And if you want to talk about addiction, well, then let's talk about the opioid crisis, which is a perfectly legal, FDA-approved method of cope. Put that one in the bank, and we could unpack that one for weeks, months, years. Stop taking away our ability to decide for ourselves what we want. There are good products out there. There are bad products out there. People tend to figure it out pretty quick, especially in the age of the internet and the age of the telephone and the age of review sites and where all you have to do is a few hours of good research, and you can typically figure out who's reputable and who's not, what works and what doesn't. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think you're speaking of reckless, dangerous self-management.
Yeah, I am. Basically, what do we call that? It used to be called rugged individualism, but now that's a term nobody uses because it's scary. And even like conservatives don't use it because apparently it's a turnoff. Now it's, I guess, just being an adult or taking care of oneself. I don't know.
I think I'd rather be embraced by the warmth of the Panhandle Health District.
And having both of them lumped together is a big problem.
There are people that have had a lot of life change with kratom that have been in constant pain or dealing with other things like that. And kratom has really helped them. But unfortunately, it's kind of getting swept in the same category as 7-OH, and there needs to be a clear line and distinction between the two.
Unfortunately, it didn't help her with her vocal fry.
Well, I mean, but at least she's making sense. Like, it's really refreshing to have somebody say something that makes sense for a change. Be like, hey, there's a difference, and it can be the good stuff can be helpful. Maybe we should distinguish between the two. Like,
There needs to be a clear line and distinction between the two.
Now, as I mentioned,
that's crazy talk.
Now, as I mentioned, the debate over kratom crosses state lines. Spokane's considering a ban on the sale and distribution of it in the city. Meanwhile, Idaho lawmakers are considering a bill aiming to crack down on synthetic kratom.
Of course.
Manage me harder.
Manage me harder, Daddy.
Gonna crack down.
Maybe
on
Spokane should focus on
citizens.
banning illegal drugs. It's been working so far for them, and banning homeless encampments. Spokane should focus on that. It's been working so good so far.
You mean urban campgrounds?
Oh,
from the unhoused?
Urban campgrounds.
It's the unhoused, dude.
Unhoused.
Come on. So heartless.
The non-homed. Or do they hang out with the non-documented, or what are they calling them now?
Unauthorized. Oh, you know what? Here, I got a perfect one for you. How it's about we just get right back into a follow-up on
If
that.
I could abolish, I'm just going to say this right now. If we should burn all of those buildings down, the Panhandle Health, and fire everybody and tell them to go do something useful. Like if I could abolish one agency right now, that's on my top 5 list for around here for like local stuff or regional stuff. That agency single-handedly squashes so much economic opportunity for people.
Oh, well, and luckily, they completely, along with all the other public health apparatus agencies and all the other stuff, completely discredited themselves in 2020. They showed themselves to not only be like a bumbling force, but actually actively malevolent.
Yeah.
Like they showed their hatred for the citizenry. So, and not everybody realized that, of course, but a lot of people did. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people did. So luckily, the Panhandle Health can get up on their apple crate in the town square and make all the proclamations they want. Half the people aren't going to listen to them. A quarter of the people will listen to them, and the other quarter will actively do the opposite of what they're saying.
I'm in that quarter percent.
Me too.
Or in that quartile, I should say.
I'm
it's
right.
The same thing with FDA. Like the moment somebody says this is not FDA approved, I typically go, oh, good. Okay. I'm more interested.
I'm going to mainline it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to just melt it in a spoon and mainline it. All right. Here is a follow-up. And there's actually, believe it or not, there is another term. It's evolving faster than ever before. We were even saying illegal alien and undocumented alien and undocumented visitor. There's like all these changes, and the changes happen so quickly. There's even another one here, and NPR softened it even further.
2 Idaho bills seeking to curb unauthorized workers are headed
now it's
to
unauthorized
the House
workers.
House Bill 704 would require employers to use E-Verify, the federal program.
I mean, technically, unauthorized worker could be a contractor that doesn't have their B&O licensing. It could be a medical professional that maybe didn't re-up some of their stuff. It could be an investments a wealth management guy who didn't finish all of their continuing education credits last year. I mean, it could be a barber who didn't go through 500 hours of school. Instead, they went through 350 hours of like. This applies to everybody that doesn't meet the top standards of any industry. That's crazy.
It could be a snow expert that doesn't have the proper credential.
I mean, I never was a certified tobacconist. Technically, that makes me an unauthorized worker.
Unauthorized worker.
Yeah.
Call ICE.
Verify, the federal program that checks potential employees' work status. Speaking in front of the House Business Committee at the Capitol yesterday, head of the Idaho Dairymen Association, Rick Narabout, testified against the bill. He urged the state to let the federal government deal with immigration issues.
If the state of Idaho creates a patchwork of E-Verify regulations, employers risk losing access to a workforce that could cause significant harm.
The second, House Bill 700, would...
So did he not just say, like, don't enforce immigration because we need the illegals working our farms? That's what he's saying.
Well, that's what's being said without being said. Yeah.
And
there's an even bigger issue at stake that on the national level, and we've actually mentioned, you and I have touched on this before, is one of the interesting arguments for unfettered illegal immigration is, well, who's going to mow your lawn?
Yeah.
Who's going to, slap a new roof on your house? Who's going to pick
your fruit?
And when you sit there and think about it for more than 5 seconds, you go, okay, so one of the biggest legs of the platform you're standing on for unfettered immigration is that without black and brown people to do the stuff we don't want to do, then the stuff we don't want to do will never get done.
That's the premise. Yeah.
Like, do you not see how racist that, like, that's even worse than just being a straight up racist. That is the not subtle but soft bigotry of low expectations. It's the same thing as saying that voter ID is racist because black people and brown people don't know how to get an ID. It's the same thing as saying that like women are at risk when voter identification rules are put in place because they don't know how to get an ID. That's crazy. Think about that.
I mean, she walked into the DMV barefoot and pregnant, and they pointed at the door. They were like, "Hey, no shoes, no service, lady."
Yeah. Next, when you come back, bring a sandwich and we'll talk.
I heard a lot of this.
No sandwich, no ID.
Like growing in this, that's a show clip right there. No sandwich, no ID. I heard of plenty of a version of this growing up in Southern California, where many in our sort of family's general orbit and peer group had illegals working as maids.
Yeah.
And, the notion of like, well, if Consuela's not there to clean the toilet, how will the toilet get cleaned?
These are also the same people, most of them are the same people who will stampede in the streets for it used to be the fight for 15. Now it's like the fight for $42 an hour, because it goes up every year. Now I'm pretty sure it's like $40 an hour now. These idiots want for basically just breathing air. At the same time, these people are like, the minimum wage should be basically infinity dollars, and I cook the fries, therefore I deserve $1 gazillion, and I basically own the restaurant because I cook the fries. The owner doesn't do anything. These are those, this is how these people think.
Yeah.
So while they're campaigning for $42 an hour to cook fries at McDonald's, they're also telling us that without black and brown people crossing the border illegally, we'll have to pay people a living wage to mow the lawn. Like, it's so obtuse, hypocritical, and racist. It's crazy.
If the state of Idaho creates a patchwork of E-Verify regulations, employers risk losing access to a workforce that could cause significant harm.
The second, House Bill 700, would charge employers with a misdemeanor for knowingly hiring undocumented workers. Carlos,
they always go after the employers.
Immigrated to the U.S.
Always.
Legally testified in support.
Illegal immigrants keep coming because employers hire them. They would not come otherwise.
It's employers' fault.
Has no consequences.
Those bastards offering jobs
through the committee and will be further debated on the House floor.
All right, further debate is incoming.
There is so much stupidity on every side of this. On every side of this,
as usual, everyone's wrong.
Everyone is wrong
or against it.
If you just deregulated the dairy industry, then milk would cost half, maybe, and there'd be twice as many dairies, and we could employ whoever the hell we wanted at whatever wage the market agreed on, and it would be better for everybody.
Deregulate? No. We need to crack down because remember, raw milk is raw sewage.
Yeah. Well, you know what makes things cheaper? More regulations and making it harder to do business. Yeah. That always helps make things less expensive.
You finally learned.
Good job, government.
Yay. Let's switch gears once again. There's a slightly longer presentation here, but I have a bunch of fun material on it, so let's just go for it.
As part of Black History Month, a night of celebration and recognition at the Black Excellence Gala held Saturday night at Jump.
Tonight we are celebrating Black Excellence.
This year's gala focused on 6 local trailblazers, individuals recognized for their contributions to Idaho and the Black community.
Did they hold this conference on a basketball court?
Yeah, and Van Halen was the headliner.
Community.
They are folks that have contributed to our...
Also, I don't know why you picked basketball. I mean, of all the sports, I don't get it.
I'm a big fan of Basketball Americans.
Oh, yeah.
And their organization called Jump.
Contributed to our community in Idaho. And so we just want to celebrate them, give them their flowers, and just thank them for their contributions to Idaho, not only Idaho, but to our Black community and to Black history and to just making Idaho a better place.
I think if I was Black in Idaho, I would be like, please don't, I don't want your flowers. I just want you to leave me alone.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
And to just making Idaho a better place.
Among those honored, Cherie Buckner Webb, Idaho's first elected African-American state legislator.
Yeah, the hyphen. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that just all the rage or what?
It is among a certain political persuasion.
Idaho's first elected African-American state legislator.
African-American. I looked her up. She's a 5th generation Idahoan. Africa.
Idaho's first elected African-American state legislator. And Dr. Mamie Oliver, a longtime educator who has spent decades teaching and mentoring in the Treasure Valley.
So she's such a great local. She's 90 years old, and so that's a reason to celebrate.
Also being honored, Charles Taylor, president of the Idaho NAACP.
So many times we have unsung heroes that you don't know anything about, and we want to make sure that we're recognizing them.
Organizers say the gala continues to grow each year, creating space to uplift stories that might otherwise go unheard, honoring the past and continuing to build community and legacy.
Okay, so there's a lot here. For one, this is a mainstream media deconstruction show. So what was stark raving missing from this basically puff piece celebrating the honoring of the, quote, black community? Did you notice there was nothing political mentioned at all? No political parties? No political leanings. Do you remember how NPR sounds when they're covering organizations that lean right?
Conservative Christian Policy Group, the far-right activists.
Far-right.
Now, they didn't mention that these are all Democrats.
Far-left
They're
activists.
all lefties.
Yes, they are.
The hyphenated name lady, who's the fifth-generation Idahoan, but she's from Africa, Democrat. The NAACP, commie. This was a gathering of, it wasn't a gathering of blacks, it was a gathering of left wingers. So it's that media sleight of hand where they take a political issue and they turn it into a race issue. You have countless a number of whites who agree with them and blacks who don't. It's not a black or white issue. Let me say it in not my own words.
I've been waiting to say this all day. I do not celebrate Black History Month. I think that's the dumbest thing on planet Earth. When are we going to be done with this divisive stuff? We don't need a Black History Month. Every day, every month is Black History Month. American history is Black history. And y'all are still falling for this stuff. They picked the shortest month, the shortest month out of the entire year. To the month with the least amount of days. Y'all talking about Black History Month.
I never actually thought of that. That's funny.
You think it's a win. It ain't a win. We're Americans. We're past that. It's over. The Civil War was fought. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed. We're American citizens just like anybody else. And we need to start living like it in this country. Enough with this black and white crap. Black history is American history. The end.
This is the ongoing theme here.
Where'd you pull this?
Which is
just like who's saying this?
Oh, I just Googled Basketball American against Black History Month and it came right up. A million of these came right up. But see, here's the thing. Like you have the hubris, I guess, of humans have hubris in general, but in particular, the political left is very hubristic in that they always claim to be speaking on behalf of an entire group, a racial group, a cultural group, whatever. So they have this gathering and they're like, we're speaking on behalf of blacks in Idaho. No, you're speaking on behalf of the left in Idaho. But they use that race. I don't want to repeat myself, but they're using race to supplement for political issue because that's how you can sort of shut down opposition. Because I'm pushing back, I'm not for blacks. Is that it?
Yeah, but when you're talking about people who live their lives and do everything through the lens of race and politics.
gender, and class.
Yep, and wrapped all around into politics. Like that is the lens through which they live their lives, that they do everything, they see everything, they commentate on everything. So it's intrinsic and it's inextricable. And you cannot
separate them. Yeah. Right. And as a media deconstruction angle, the media abets the political left in this way by presenting the story as if it's something about race or culture, and they omit the politics. When you hear them insert the politics as sort of explosively as they can, far right Christian they do that every time the quote right is involved, and they omit it when the left is involved.
It's actually ingenious because it's not quite overt yellow journalism, but it is lies by omission, and it's a masterclass in crafting the narrative.
Indeed.
And that's why the mainstream media had been so successful for so long. Thank God for the internet and alternative media, through which now we have ways to get around it. They don't control the narrative the way they used to. Thank heavens.
I would like to also address the term African American, because it is not a pro-black, quote unquote, thing to use the term African American. It's a pro-left thing. This is, again, another political issue, not race issue. Allow me to illustrate.
I also don't say African Americans. I find it cumbersome and confusing.
Just in case you don't immediately recognize the voice, this is the living legend, the man from the future who just came here to warn us and was wondering why we were all laughing at what he was saying. This is not funny. I'm just here to warn you.
Americans. I find it cumbersome and confusing. Which part of Africa are we talking about? Egypt? Egypt is in Africa, but Egyptians aren't black. They're like the people in India. They're dark brown white people, but they're Africans. So why wouldn't an Egyptian who becomes a U.S. citizen be called an African American? The same would apply to South Africa. Suppose a white racist from South Africa becomes an American citizen. Couldn't he call himself an African American?
Ooh, I like that.
If for no other reason than just to bother black people. And what about a black person born in South Africa who becomes an American citizen? Is he an African American, or is he a South African American? Or is he simply a South African American African American? You know, it's just so much more tedious liberal labeling. Liberals should be taught that labels divide people, and I think we could probably do with fewer labels, not more.
Now, a lot of...
Yeah, but can't we all just get along while we also separate ourselves into categories and subcategories?
A lot of, quote, liberals who are actually psychotic authoritarians, they're the opposite of liberals, but they don't think it's dividing people, even though it is. The string puller, tiny apparatus string puller set, absolutely know it's dividing people, which is why it's crafted the way it's crafted. But most of the boots on the ground, the dumbbell hoi polloi, they don't realize that that's... or. I don't know. Am I giving them too much credit?
I think it probably applies to some of them.
Credit?
I think it applies to some of them, and I think it doesn't apply to some of them. I tell you, it's a mixed bag of nuts. I think some people know very well what they're doing and they're okay with it, and some people are unwitting about it. I really do. Mixed bag of nuts on that one.
Let's finish up with this presentation with a couple more things. Once again, using the term African American doesn't mean you're appeasing blacks.
Always going to be known as a black American. I can't call myself an African American, because when they want to separate us, then they say we are African American. But remember this: when I'm competing in the Olympics, I didn't compete on an African American Olympic team. I competed on an American Olympic team. So don't separate me when you want to separate me.
Finally, I would like to play a little history of the term and sort of when it came into sort of political correct prominence, because it's not that old. Do you sort of know? I didn't, by the way, until I kind of was looking into this, like when it started to be used in widespread parlance.
About the same time affirmative action took hold, in the early 90s, I believe.
You're really close,
because they used the term in the 50s and 60s, and during the civil rights actions. Actions is the right term, but the civil rights movement, if you will. Negro was the term that everybody could use. That was the acceptable term. I mean, what a far cry we are from there now, because, you know, you say that word and people get their bristles up pretty quick, even though it's still a pretty benign term. But in the, I would say, late 80s, early 90s, you had affirmative action rear its ugly head for the first real time. And then you had, I think, African American, that term coined around that same time.
You did. You're right on it. And it was coined as the result of just a few people, and it was very deliberate.
But for mainstream America, a major turning point came in the late 1980s. In 1988, a group of black leaders, including Reverend Jesse Jackson and representatives from the NAACP, met to discuss the National Black Agenda. It was here that Jackson and
could you imagine if there was a conference called the National White Agenda?
Yes.
Could you imagine oh my gosh.
That's a point that didn't get made in the first thing, where the first report about the quote black celebration that just happened in Idaho. If you replaced any of that with white, it would sound insane, and it would actually confirm all of the people who actually don't know anything about North Idaho or Idaho in general. They were like, oh, it's all the white supremacists. Is that right? Because imagine hearing that report. Yes, the White Awards, and we just want to acknowledge all the whites that have contributed to the
award for the whitest Idahoan goes to.
And here's the flowers for Whitey.
It was here that Jackson and his peers catapulted the term African American into the country's lexicon. Reverend Jackson said.
So they did it to themselves.
Yes, they absolutely did, and it was deliberate, like the divisive thing that we've been talking about, or divisive, however you pronounce that. But absolutely, it was fomented deliberately because Jackson is a race hustler.
Oh, yeah.
Of course it was done deliberately. That's how he makes his living.
He's dead, you know.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
oh, the
just
late
died.
Jackson. Well, good riddance.
Yeah,
I agree. Jackson and his peers catapulted
4 or 5 days ago.
the term.
Oh, he just died?
Yeah, no, recent. Very recent.
Oh, I didn't even know
Jesse Jackson. Was it 90? 91?
Wow.
Yeah, made the, let's see, what is today? Today is Tuesday. So it was like last Wednesday or Thursday I saw it on the news.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Met to discuss the National Black Agenda.
National Left Agenda.
Catapulted the term African American into the country's lexicon. Reverend Jackson said, to be called African Americans has cultural integrity. It puts us in our proper historical context.
He was just going to say, puts us in our proper place. Almost. I thought that was coming.
We, my uppity peers and I just had a conference. And I mean, honestly, though, I mean, the hubris, he's getting up in front of, at a podium with like 8 microphones at it and speaking up behalf of the blacks.
Could you imagine like if one of us stood up at the National White Agenda meeting and was like, from now on, all of us are to be called Euro Americans.
I'm Paul Banducci.
But I'm from Russia. Shut up, you.
I'm Russian American, man.
But I'm Russian American.
Weren't you born in Pacoima?
Every ethnic group in this country has a reference to some land base, some historical cultural base. African Americans have hit that level of cultural maturity. Jackson stated that other races could connect their heritage to their mother countries with a sense of pride and acceptance. The term rose to prominence because it was considered more appropriate than black or colored.
It was considered that by who?
The Council of the Black Agenda, I guess. I don't know. Oh, dude. It must be awesome to be able to just deign yourself the arbiter of black.
I hereby, on behalf of the Jews... I mean, it's like, I can't.
Wait, no, go on.
I don't even know what I would proclaim.
You have the floor, Scott. I'm so curious. Go on.
Send your money and no ID runs on value for value.
Oh, perfect segue. Yes, yes.
Should we just do it now?
Let's do it. We got it.
Right.
We got it.
Yes. Actually, yes, indeed.
It's that time.
On
behalf of all Jews.
On behalf of Jews and Paul on behalf of Whitey.
I'm a discount Jew. I'm Italian.
Yes, the value for value model is how No ID, which is the program you are currently listening to, that is the model we run on. Value for value means, as we have continued to say on every episode we do, and we'll continue to, it means that if you find this program valuable, if it's a valuable addition to your week, keeping you company in the car, keeping you company at the gym, whatever, we ask that you contribute back to the show, contribute value back if you find it valuable. That means time, talent, or treasure. Many different ways you can contribute value back to our program. NoIDshow.com is where you can go to contribute value back in any way. Send us a message. There's a button to click at the bottom if you don't have our immediate contact info. If you do have our immediate contact info, send us some texts, send us some calls, send us some emails, whatever you'd like. Send us articles, send us audio, send us stuff we should look into, send us boots on the ground reports. Send us your area of expertise.
Give us the dish.
And dish it to us. Yeah. Your hobbies, your whatever.
Actually, there's been a number of times now where we've covered some topics and executive producers have reached out to us and been like, hey, here's more information on what's going on that. Exactly. And that has been awesome.
It has been. That is value returned. So thanks so much to those of you who've already done it, who continue to do it, and who will do it in the future. Thanks in advance. Yeah. Time and talent. And then the treasure portion is obviously a huge value add as well, as we continue to mention. That is, I'm going to look into.
Do we have any treasure shout outs?
We do today.
Okay. Oh, good. I have one as well.
Oh,
I'll let you go first.
All right. Well, let's start with. Let me pull up my browser. Let's start with, this one is amazing. Let's start with Jack Cramer, who donated $69.
Nice.
Jack has donated before, but this time Jack wrote in a note, and it is a doozy.
Ooh,
Jack says, I found episode 13 and 14 created a masterclass in irony. In episode 13, at 53 minutes, Paul discusses not being superstitious about the number 13, so much that it's his number on the basketball court. Episode 14, at 3 minutes 20 seconds, starts with the terrible news that Paul ruptured his Achilles playing basketball. Maybe it's time to be a little stitious. So, and then he says, the show has been great, boys. Keep it up. Hoping for a speedy recovery for Paul. Signed, Jack Cramer, who sent that from his Bakelite phone.
Well, Jack, that would be the slowest of slow burns ever. If that's been my jersey number since I started playing basketball in the 4th grade.
Yes,
and I was 9 years old.
We mentioned it on episode. So take a listen. It's become an executive producer of an episode of No ID, which today is number 13. I considered doing like should we skip 13 and just go straight to episode 14? Like you hear about those office buildings. Like, well, there's no 13th floor, that sort of thing. And then I thought, no, I'm not a superstitious idiot. This is just episode number 13. And if something goes terribly
13's
wrong,
my jersey number. So if we skipped it, I would have been a little bummed out.
Is it really?
It's a good number. Yeah, it's my jersey number. When I'm out there playing shooty ball or basketball, my 2 main sports. Yeah. It's a good number. Yeah,
okay.
You know what? I'm going to die. I will die on that hill. I will give an Achilles tendon to that hill.
The very next episode.
And actually, Western medicine will be a huge help to me momentarily. Because I ruptured my tendon, my Achilles tendon in my left leg on Monday night. And I got to tell you, that's a negative 5 stars. Would not recommend.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
Excellent catch by Jack.
Way to go, Jack. Bell for you, sir.
Wow.
Nicely
crazy.
done.
And textbook Paul just digging his heels in. I'm going to continue to wear 13. You know what? I'll bust my other Achilles. What do you think about that?
I am digging my heels in.
I didn't even do that on purpose, man.
You get a bell.
Amazing.
Thank you, Jack, for your contribution. We really appreciate it.
We do. Yes. And that is major value return. Not only a great catch and a great little bit of show content there, but some US dollar dues. Thanks, Jack. We have another one for this week. Episode number 16 today. Or I'm sorry, no, 17. Episode 17. And it is from, once again, the man, Kevin Killian.
The man, the myth, the legend.
There
Kevin
he
Killian.
is. And he just says V4V. That is his only message. And it is $50 from regular executive producer Kevin Killian. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Really appreciate it. And as always, just because I'm in the position to do this, and I love to do this, especially with people I know personally. Any of you, though, are welcome to this invitation. You donate to you do value for value with us. You are invited to have a cigar with me when I come down to town. I try to let people know, Kevin, next time I'm down, well, I'm down right now, but we can't meet up today because it's too late for that. But I will let you know next time I'm down, and we'll have to enjoy each other's company yet again. I wanted to surprise you with it.
Hey.
This comes courtesy of Steve Pegg. So that name's come up a few times. Steve Pegg said, Steve. That's right. Too much Bell. Well, I told him that you got to be an executive producer to really get the feedback. You give us feedback. You want something done about it. You got to be a true executive producer. So Steve put his money where his mouth is. That is a silver dime from 1935.
It sure is. How cool is this?
Baller.
Dope.
So Steve slapped that into my palm the last time I saw him a few days ago and said, there, now I've put my money where my mouth is, and I'm an executive producer.
Attaboy, Steve.
I said, that you are, Steve.
Wow, cool.
So thank you, Steve Pegg.
And silver, everyone's talking about precious metals. So what is this, worth a couple grand?
Dude, that's things. Yeah, it's got to be worth $100, that little dime right there.
Wait. Awesome. All right. Cool value returned. We've gotten paper money, but this is the first metal money.
Steve also did include a message in picture form.
Okay.
That I will pull up for you real quick. Right there. That's Steve. That's Steve's AI personification in a cutoff jacket and a mohawk, ringing the bell, telling us too much bell.
Yeah, it's a beautiful AI rendered illustration of a badass biker with a mohawk ringing a gigantic bell, and it's like a heavy metal album cover.
Yeah, I like to think that's how Steve imagines himself, and good for you, Steve.
Lack of bell. All right, so there you go. If you would like to become an executive producer of an episode of No ID, please visit noidshow.com. and make use of all the different buttons there: Venmo, PayPal, Patreon. There's a bunch of different options. Plus, there's just the option to get in touch with us, send us a message.
Yeah, I mean, of course, meeting me in person and slapping a little silver in my palm. I mean, that brings out the discount Jew in me like nothing else. I'm keeping this, by the way. This is mine.
Oh, it's sweet. That's yes.
But I wanted to show you that it is in fact real. I have it, but I'm keeping it.
On behalf of all Jews, F you very much.
On behalf of all Italians, forget about it.
Okay, second half of show. Let's start this sojourn with I just had it. What did I want to do? Okay. Everyone's kind of talking about the low snowpack. We've covered it. Everyone's covering it. Everyone's talking about it. It's not snowing up here. The winter that's going to scare off all the Californians has yet to hit, and it's actually only going in the other direction.
Alas.
Our mild winter in Idaho has caused all sorts of issues and challenges for bee populations, and we're not just talking honey. All of this impact everybody. Beekeepers are more than concerned about the warm weather we've seen so far this winter for these insects.
You know what? This is actually, I didn't anticipate this, but now I'm thinking about it. This is a little bit of an ask, Paul. I wonder, because this beekeeper, who I believe is like the official beekeeper of some Idaho city, I forget, reminded me very specifically of a character from a movie. And I wonder if you will have the same thought.
It may already look and feel like spring, but when they leave their hive to hunt for pollen, they won't find any, and that disruption to their natural hibernation cycle can be deadly.
Bees are 100% needed to pollinate those fruit trees and other blooming plants, but if they don't make it through the winter, there's no bees there to pollinate come spring, and that's going to be a big issue.
Hannah points out that if you lose bees, farmers and fruit growers risk losing harvests, meaning a mild winter can be a deal breaker for commercial beekeepers.
It's going to be more expensive for vegetable or fruit, and then it's going to cost more to replenish the stock of bees, which is a fairly easy task, but it takes time and money. So we still have a queen, since there's baby eggs, pollinating either some early crops, some fruit trees, and even a lot of flowers inside your garden, which I think everybody gets to benefit from the bees. That's what I like about the bees.
The only thing that's coming to mind is very nice, my wife.
No,
but I don't know. Hit me with it.
You're not far off. Let's finish the clip. We're almost there.
Okay.
That's what I like about the bees. Some people may not like dandelions, but it's one of the first great resources for nectars and pollen for bees.
Dandelions are awesome.
They will continue to monitor the situation right through the spring.
Healthy bees, happy bees.
So the bees might be, if bees don't pollinate stuff, it's going to happen.
We're all going to die. Yeah, it is a problem. It definitely is a problem.
It is a problem.
And actually, dandelions are one of those things that in suburbia people treat like weeds.
Yes.
They are incredible natural herbs. There's a lot of applications with dandelions. They are actually quite healthy, and you can consume them in a lot of different ways. Dandelions are incredible.
Give me an example.
Dandelion root tea is incredible. It can feel a little bit like coffee, but it has a lot of great properties to it. Of course, you can eat the flowers, you can eat the stems, you can turn them into salads, you can grind them up and powder it up. They have a lot of good health properties. There's a lot of ways to consume them.
I usually hit them with the propane torch. No.
Well, the important thing is that you spray them with Roundup first, then put them in your salad.
This show is brought to you by Monsanto. Yes, Monsanto.
We have a different sponsor this time. It's not Pfizer, it's Monsanto.
So here is the character it reminded me of. It was the accent. He's very in tune with the animals. He has an accent, and he's very in tune with the animals that he keeps.
Heinz gets velvet. I am trainer of dolphins. You want to talk to the dolphin? You talk to me.
You know what movie that's from?
I do not.
That's Ace Ventura.
Oh,
wow. It's Jim Carrey like trying to distract the reporters by pretending to be the dolphin trainer because the dolphin's missing. And it was it's this archetype.
That's a deep cut.
It's like he's from some unnamed country that isn't this one. And he's very in tune with the animals,
Healthy bees, happy bees.
To train the dolphin, you must think like the dolphin. You must be getting inside the dolphin's head.
I don't know why that popped into my head. What can I say?
I like it. I like it.
Here is one more quote report about the lack of snowpack.
Water managers across the region leaned into yesterday's Northwest Drought and Climate Outlook, and the news was not good.
At this point in the water year, in the winter season, we don't expect that the snowpack will recover to its near normal values. Even though there is some within the Pacific Northwest that predicted that it would occur, it has not.
And that is climatologist Larry O'Neill, and pointing to our snowpack, he said there was slim chance of recovering our statewide normal levels.
But is he a snow expert?
He's undocumented, man. He doesn't have the right
he's an unauthorized snow expert.
I keep going back to the documented, man.
Yeah, dude. Hey, move on. Undocumented was like 6 months ago, dude.
Jeez.
So Idaho is really bumping along its record low, and it's been doing so over the last couple of weeks. And you look at previous low snow years in Idaho, this is one of the worst, and it's just ahead of 2001 and just behind 2010.
And meteorologist Aaron Peters was looking at the extended outlook, that is to say, the months stretching through the spring and even into the early summer.
Again, this maybe isn't such rosy news. We're looking at below normal precipitation, but it is there on the below normal side, and then above normal temperatures. So this is for April, May, and June.
In a nutshell, dry, and too warm. That, while we've got plenty of precipitation in today's forecast, rain in the valley, snow in the mountains.
I thought that was pretty funny.
But by the end of this week, things are expected to dry out.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that is not good news.
Not good.
I've lived here pretty much, well, I'm from here, so my whole life, except for the few years I ran off to college and whatnot. And this definitely, anecdotally, I could tell you, it's one of the least amount of snowpack we've ever had, for sure. Now, up where I'm at, an hour and a half north, we did get, 4 inches last week. Yeah, nothing. You guys didn't get it down here. We got it up there.
We got a dusting, but it was gone quickly.
No, we got at least 4 inches, and it sticks where I live. It definitely sticks a lot longer too. So that snow will, unless it rains all over it, which it might, but if it doesn't, we'll have that snow until the end of March, beginning of April. I'm hoping we do. But that doesn't help things down here is the problem. And, you got the aquifer you're trying to replenish, so that's a problem. You've got the snowpack needing to stay up in the mountains and keep things greener up there so we don't have the forest fires, so that's a problem. Of course, if you fly fish like I do, you want, more water in the rivers is always good, and that's going to be a problem too. So, yeah, it's not great news. But we survived it before because, like you said, 01 and 2010, again, low years too. And so are they fun? No. Will we get through it? Yeah.
This is something that I experienced growing up in Southern California too, where it was perpetually, we're in a drought, we're in a drought, we're in a drought.
I think California's been in a drought for like 3 decades straight.
Year after year after year after year, it was always the same story, and it was always like, you don't wash your car, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. Which, by the way, I have a I don't even know if I should mention who it is exactly, but somebody I know well who. That propaganda was so effective to, 10-year-old her, whenever she was being hammered with it, and she was in her most impressionable, still to this day, well into her approaching 40 years old, still doesn't flush the effing toilet when she takes a leak. It's crazy.
There's something to be said for, maybe a couple of times before you flush it down. I don't know. It's just efficient, I suppose. To California being in a perpetual drought for 30 years, 40 years, though, the vast majority of that is self-inflicted.
Of course it is.
Over in Idaho up here, it's not self-inflicted the way it is down there.
That is very true. Yeah.
It is absolutely 100% a byproduct, a direct product of bad policy.
Yep. And I always not always, because it took me until a little later in my life before I learned or realized that, ag is using all the water anyway. Not washing your car, flushing your toilet's a joke. Ag takes 80% of the water, or whatever the number is very, very high. You aren't doing anything as a residential consumer.
It's sort of like thinking that you and I move the needle when it comes to CO2 emissions or whatnot.
It's that.
Meanwhile, in the Pacific ring of fire, a volcano pops off and undoes everything in 5 seconds, which you and I could have mitigated in our lives.
Some little baby hill in Iceland blows up and undoes 20 years of our, quote, efforts.
One economic elite goes to the World Economic Forum in Davos on their private jet and uses more fuel. Emits more CO2 than you and I will in a lifetime.
Well, in their defense, they did try to hitch a ride on Epstein's plane, but then they learned that it was out of commission, so they just took their own.
It turns out it's expensive to travel to islands.
Get a ride share when you can, you know. It's actually what responsible citizens
the
do.
The planes are cheap. It's the jet fuel that gets you.
Jet A, man. Let's move along from the drought here, or what I guess see there. I'm still stuck in California mode, whatever we're calling it, lack of snowpack, and move right along to the lower elevations in Post Falls, where the city council made the mainstream really didn't like the decision it made.
I know what we're going to talk about next. This is exciting.
A federal holiday meant to celebrate the end of slavery across America will no longer be recognized here in Post Falls.
You see how they started right off the bat? Just immediately right off the bat, meant to celebrate the end of slavery.
Post Falls City Council likes slavery.
How could anybody, how could you possibly think to go against not celebrating the end of slavery?
The far right Ku Klux Klanners in Post Falls they're pro slavery, obviously.
Slavery across America will no longer be recognized here in Post Falls, Idaho. City leaders say the holiday schedule is always subject to change. However, Juneteenth will no longer be observed as a city holiday.
Plu?
Aye.
Luca?
Aye.
Malloy?
Nay. Again, not against Columbus Day. Just would like to see them both recognized.
Stigleader? Aye. Mosby?
Aye.
Ziegler?
Nay. Motion passes. Thank you.
Mayor Randy Westland called for the change and for the reinstatement of Columbus Day throughout the city.
Which I believe is a more appropriate holiday honoring our American heritage. My own view is that Juneteenth is something that nobody had heard of until 5 years ago and was pushed for political purposes. And so I'm not in favor of having that in.
However, this viewpoint was not shared unanimously. Council members Joe Malloy and Nathan Ziegler said while they understand wanting to celebrate Columbus Day, they also believe Juneteenth is just as important because it was a pivotal moment with ending slavery across the country.
So I don't know if you would consider doing an every other year type of thing. I think both are very
compromised. We're going to alternate holidays. Come on. What are we, 12 years old? This is
split custody, man.
That's exactly it, dude. Okay. You get half the kids half the year, and I get half the kids the other year. Whatever. This is funny, but it's holidays. Like, we're adults, right? I thought.
Well, we're adults, but we still want double Christmas presents, don't we?
Type of thing, but I think both are very relevant to our history.
Just
they are
we
not.
Didn't know about or was more or was made less relevant doesn't make it relevant to today.
Both Malloy and Ziegler pushed for both holidays to be recognized, saying they are not mutually exclusive. Mayor Westland denied that request, with Councilmember Mark Luca adding there are other days to celebrate civil rights, like Martin Luther King Jr. Day. James McDay, the founder of the Kootenai County branch of the NAACP, adds this decision does not only affect people.
Now, notice again, they don't.
So they talk to somebody from the to the NAACP, but do they talk to anybody else? Right.
Not only is it just presenting the one side, they failed to mention that the NAACP is left-wing commie pinko.
Political organization.
Kootenai County branch of the NAACP adds this decision does not only affect people today, but generations to come in North Idaho.
Yeah.
This thing that didn't exist until 2 seconds ago outside of Texas. Now how are we going to live without it? How are we going to
black people are basically slaves again in Post Falls.
Well, because the Ku Klux Klan city council is pro-slavery. Did you hear the beginning of the report?
I heard it.
People today, but generations to come in North Idaho.
Why can't everyone be included in the celebration? Without the representation, we are perpetuating a negative.
Juneteenth commemorates
Did you understand that at all?
Not very well, no.
I mean, the audio quality is not great because he was like on Skype or something like that. But I listened to it a few times. I have no idea what the hell the guy's saying.
Included in the celebration, without the representation, we are perpetuating a negative.
Word salad. That's what that is. People like that who have jobs like that are experts in word salad. Like they say words, the words sound deep and meaningful, and they're big words with multiple syllables, and you string them all together. But then again, I'll tell you what, there's a fellow named Russell Mann who's part of the Coeur d'Alene the downtown cartel. Just look up any of his posts on Facebook. You guys want to know the definition of word salad in dictionary, look it up. And Russell Mann's picture is going to be right there. Just get on Facebook and watch what that guy posts. Word salad to the max. You sound smart, but you're actually an idiot. And if you just take 5 seconds to think about what did this person actually say? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all.
Indubitable anti-disestablishmentarianism. I'm Scott Moskowitz.
It is a talent. Credit where credit is due. To do it successfully and have people take you seriously, that's a gift.
It is.
But it's kind of like, it's not the gift you want.
We are perpetuating a negative.
Juneteenth commemorates the 1865 announcement of the abolition of slavery in Texas, freeing close to 250,000 slaves. The announcement came 2 years after President Abraham Lincoln emancipated all enslaved African Americans across the country.
Yeah, the proclamation that Lincoln put out 3 years into the Civil War because he didn't actually care about ending slavery or freeing the slaves. And he's on record as saying, I wish I could send them all back.
Don't bother us with your historical context.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dude.
Excuse me for knowing American history. But so you've got a guy like General Lee who literally said, if I could make it so the war never happens and we could all be equal, I would right now. And then you had Abraham Lincoln go, I don't really care about all that. If I could send them back, I would. I just want to keep the Union together, man. That's my goal. Yeah, and then issued the proclamation 3 years into the war because he's like, well, is there a way we can speed things up? Maybe this will help. And then was able to go, look, we have, don't try it, Anakin. I have the moral high ground.
There's more far-right commentary from Paul Banducci.
Oh, super
McDade
far right.
says with the growing population in North Idaho now, more than ever, cities like Post Falls should be taking steps forward rather than backwards.
Right.
Without Juneteenth, blacks are not safe in Post Falls.
See, they're progressive.
Just magically,
you know what
they were shielded by Juneteenth. You know how this works? Like, I was going to be racist and go find one and, I don't know, do something racist, but I'm blocked by Juneteenth. It's like, oh, crap. Now we can't do it.
It actually like you move toward them, but then it flings you backwards like 5 feet. You just go skidding onto your butt, you know?
Yeah. Ideological force field. I don't even know. What do we do?
Forward rather than backwards.
See, and that's the thing. They're progressives. So you know what that makes us? Regressive.
Far right.
You see, far right regressive. See how that works?
Idaho now, more than ever, cities like Post Falls should be taking steps forward rather than backwards.
Show some respect. That's all.
That is a soundbite.
Show some respect.
Yes, it is.
So unless we agree with you politically, we're not respecting
disrespectful. I really can say on that because I feel disrespected by those individuals. Like, I'm nobody here.
Again, this decision does not affect the federal.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
That's all I really can say on that because I feel.
And that's all I have to say about that. All right, Forrest Gump.
Feel disrespected by those individuals. Like, I'm nobody here.
Again, this decision does not affect the federal or state recognition of Juneteenth, just the city's holiday schedule here in Post
symbolic.
Falls.
Okay, I have more to say. I'm sorry, I got to break this down. Here we go. Both holidays are stupid, and instead of saying we should celebrate both, let's celebrate neither. Let's spend no money, especially no taxpayer money, on either of them. Let's not take the day off because what we just do is give federal bureaucrats an opportunity to not work while we still pay their salary. What a waste. Furthermore, Columbus didn't discover America. He discovered North America. He landed in Cuba for Spain, and he was Italian. So the whole celebrating the tradition of America doesn't even make sense. Now, if we want to talk about North America, the continent, all right, we got some ground there, but an Italian explorer on behalf of Spain discovered Cuba. And then for Juneteenth, Texas abolished slavery 2 years after Lincoln said they were supposed to. And also not at the same time as the Emancipation Proclamation, which also, the more you know, happened 3 years into the Civil War. So neither holiday makes any fucking sense.
There's even further historical context that I'm going to allow a black and brown person who for some reason doesn't feel disrespected. I'm going to allow him to explain it.
There were enslaved blacks in Galveston, Texas that did not know they were officially free. Although other blacks told them that they were free, they didn't believe them. In 1865, they were officially told that they were free, and that's why they celebrate Juneteenth. However, they were not the only slaves. What they fail to mention, because they don't want this to be a part of history, the Choctaw Indian had not released their slaves, but they don't want you to know that the natives own slaves, and they don't want you to know that that was the actual last remnant of slaves released. Is when the Choctaw released their slaves a year later, which
this
was
is because
the
the Native Americans didn't have telegrams.
year later, which were the final remnant of black slaves released. That's why it's so disingenuous for them to pick June 19th, 1865, when it probably would be March something, 1866. But they cannot have in history that Indians were the last to release black people from slavery, because they can't blame it all on white people.
That gets even better, Scott, because so this brings up another good point. Is like blacks owned blacks owned black slaves. Indians, Native Americans, Indians owned black slaves. Indians also owned Indian slaves. That's sort of a cultural thing that went on for, 10,000 years also. Ottomans, and by the way, at this time in history, the Ottoman Empire was still very much in charge, large and in charge of a solid 15-20% of the known world.
Right up to World War I.
And slaves throughout the entire Ottoman Empire. And the color didn't matter at all. It just mattered if your region got conquered. There were lots and lots of white slaves throughout the Ottoman Empire.
No, I think the only people who had slaves were the Post Falls City Council.
Oh, nailed it.
Here is one more clip about, once again, the NAACP guy. He's not speaking on behalf of blacks. He's speaking on behalf of the left.
Let's talk about what the Democrats are doing. The reason that Democrats are actually making this a big deal is because they want to divide between black and white.
This is an NCAA. Is it NAACP?
No, and it's someone of the same persuasion, the same quote race who doesn't agree with the guy politically. It's not a race issue; it's a political issue.
I thought you said this was a spokesperson for the NAACP.
No, the guy that the North Idaho mainstream media highlighted on their coverage of the Post Falls City Council. He was, and I'm responding to him in not my voice, because it's much more effective if you hear from somebody that's supposed to agree with him, because the blacks are all one community, the black community, the black community, the black community.
They want black people to believe July the 4th is the white man's Independence Day, and that June 19th is the black man Independence Day. Now, some black people are fooled into believing that this was done in good faith. And they want to make sure they push it because they want a continual battle.
Has there ever been a time in history where segregation was done in good faith? Think about that. Is there ever a time in history where it's like, no, you guys go over there and you guys get to go over there, but this is for everybody's own good?
Yes, of course. Just a few years ago with vaccine passports, they were just trying to control a disease, dude. See, discrimination is wrong and terrible, except for when we do it in 2020 on account of the air is dangerous. Yeah. See how it works?
Yeah. Or when black college kids want it, they want segregated dorms while failing to remember that their great grandparents marched in the streets to desegregate society.
But again, it's not blacks that wanted that. It's black lefties who wanted it, because blacks who don't agree with them politically think it's ridiculous. Now, that's obviously a different story.
Even
because
more funny is the white college students who supported it too.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Blacks should be in their own dorms.
It's not a color issue. It's a political issue. But that is still obviously in its own category because it's voluntary. Go right ahead. What do I care?
Well, I do. I mean, that is a good point, and I do agree with it, because obviously, as a libertarian, the rights of association are paramount.
Exactly.
Who you want to and people do self-sort.
Yeah.
However, one cannot ignore the irony, whether it's voluntary association or not, or enforced by the state. Either way, the fact that it took less than 3 generations for one generation to go, let's all get along, be together, segregation is bad, and then their grandkids and great grandkids going, I want my own dorm and I don't want to be near Whitey, and other white people going, I agree.
Yeah, that's right.
Like imagine being a grandparent and like watching your kids or grandkids behave that way. Could you imagine?
What was the point? What was the point of it all? One more version of the mainstream coverage on the Post Falls decision, because this one from, I forget where the hell it was, but who cares? Another network affiliate, they covered a group that's against it.
You know how they're all like MSNBC, NBC, ABC? What we need to do is that really what we should just call them all NPC.
MSNB hee-haw. I like NBC. NPC is good.
NPC.
Okay, yes, this is the North Idaho affiliate of the NPC network.
So as we continue following this story, an organization in northern Idaho is worried about.
Tell me you don't know anything about this region. I mean, and far be it for me. You know, I've only been here 6 years, but northern Idaho. Yeah. I moved here from North California. Come on, man.
Well, this is near and dear to my heart. You know it's going to give me, because I am an Idaho local. It is North Idaho and South Idaho, because they might as well be two different states. They are two different states. They should be two different states. North Dakota and South Dakota got to, divorce. Why the hell can't we? Like, if I woke up tomorrow and got to pick 5 of my favorite things I wanted to happen, secession would be number 1 on my list. Well, one of them.
National divorce.
Top 5.
National divorce and regional divorce.
National divorce and regional divorce.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with Boise. Go away.
I grew up in South California, but I moved here from North California.
So as we continue following this story, an organization in northern Idaho.
I don't even want anything to do with Coeur d'Alene or Sandpoint. God.
Will impact their group's mission.
It's an ugly thing to do, I think.
North Idahoan Lauren McCroskey says she was shocked when she heard the news of Post Falls City Council members voting to...
She clutched her pearls, took a sharp, deep intake of breath, and said, "This thing I heard about 5 seconds ago is paramount to the existence of all the races."
I'm outraged.
North Idahoan Lauren McCroskey says she was shocked when she heard the news of Post Falls City Council members voting to remove Juneteenth as a city holiday and reinstate Columbus Day on Tuesday night.
And just for, I don't think
and now I'm going to celebrate Juneteenth even harder.
That's exactly. Oh, you jest, but that quote was basically verbatim. You'll hear it.
Oh,
in a
I
minute.
totally bet. Okay, as long as she releases her slaves, I'll allow it.
I just want to point out, just in case we didn't mention it, and just in case you don't know, and because I clarified too, because I wasn't exactly sure, this was made a federal holiday in 2021.
Yeah,
and it was politically done in the wake of the George Floyd propaganda.
Yes,
and it has been something that Texans have acknowledged for a long time. It's like a sort of regional holiday, but it's never been federal. And the last, when the last federal holidays they don't make new federal holidays very often. You know when the last one was?
The last one? Ooh, I think that'd be Thanksgiving.
Oh no, it's much more recent than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It was Martin Luther King Day, and that was in the night. It was in the early '80s that they made that a federal holiday.
That makes sense. Okay, and then probably Thanksgiving, I think. But
So,
I could be wrong.
but it's been 40 years. I mean, it's been a long time. It very, very rarely happens. So this was, I thought that was worth mentioning.
That was dumb. Thanksgiving. Tell me.
Thanksgiving.
Because that was right after World War I.
On Tuesday night.
Better.
She, alongside several others, started the anti-hate group Idaho for All.
So if we disagree with them,
it's anti-hate.
We're pro-hate.
Oh,
see how that works?
Dude, you know what? Yeah. No, I agree. I am pro-hate. I hate what they
too.
stand for because they're stupid.
And they're pro-hate too. They just hate, Republicans and Trump and all this, whatever the hell else, fill in the blank.
Anybody who disagrees with them.
Anti-hate.
She, alongside several others, started the anti-hate group Idaho for All a little over 2 years ago.
Idaho for all
she says
the
to
commies.
hold vigils and events on national issues and holidays the group feels don't get the right amount of attention across northern Idaho.
The best way to solve some of these problems is to try to create community around common issues.
That includes a Juneteenth pop-up concert and Freedom Walk that's been held in Coeur d'Alene.
I can feel the smug from here.
Over the past couple of years. But now she says Post Falls has distinguished itself, inspiring her to grow their group's events moving forward.
I think it's going to invigorate us to have an even bigger Juneteenth this year.
She says this decision comes as members of Idaho for All are beginning to plan for their next event commemorating Juneteenth. She adds it's an important day to acknowledge the news of the end of slavery reaching Texas more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, and she hopes that decision out of Post Falls doesn't hinder folks turning out for their event come June.
Now, of course, that's folks with an X, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah, I will only celebrate the end of slavery the moment we don't have to pay taxes anymore. Because during the Civil War, they ended one form of slavery and just expanded slavery to all of us.
Boy, is that true.
That's literally what they did.
Oh,
just
no,
a
it's not all of us.
softer form of slavery.
No. It's just 1%, and it's just on the wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's we're gonna getting toward the end here. Let's do a couple more. What can we do? Let's do this one's a little long. We'll save the coroner follow-up. How's about this short one, another Post Falls decision?
Post Falls city officials are looking to add a patriotic monument to celebrate America's 250th birthday. The city council voted last week to participate in the America 250 Idaho Celebration Fund grant program. A $2,500 grant and outside donations would fund the monument, but the city says they will not move forward with the project if they do not receive the grant.
There you go.
We need this money.
I'm against it.
Whatever they're for.
I don't care if it's only, quote unquote, only $2,500 of a grant. A grant is still public money. They tax us. It goes into the state coffers. Then the state issues a grant back to counties, or in this case, the city, to celebrate America. Actually, thinking about this, Scott, what a wonderfully ironic way to celebrate the founding of this country by recklessly spending taxpayer money to acknowledge it.
That is
a rebellion built on not paying taxes is going to be funded with our taxes.
See, in here, I thought it was just a monument to...
You suck.
I thought it was just a monument to commemorate slavery. I mean, to honor it, given that it's the Post Falls City Council that's erecting it.
America. Gosh, I want to love you so bad, but I can't because you suck. Government sucks. The idea of America is still awesome, but it's dead. It's so dead.
Sadly.
We celebrate our own country by taxing ourselves. Just think about that.
And it's a city council in North Idaho. That's actually okay. I can't.
Yeah.
As long as we're on the whole.
I know it's supposed to be a friendly puff piece, isn't it? And I just went and ruined it.
Okay. Well, here we'll go unfriendly, and we'll stay
just
on
like
the
that meme, anything, literally anything, and literally nobody except Paul. I blame the government.
Idaho's budget cuts are reaching career technical education classrooms. Industry leaders now warn it could really hurt Idaho's workforce. Leaders say fewer classroom supplies and mentorship opportunities are creating a less prepared workforce in Idaho.
What?
From welding to culinary arts, CTE programs are in classrooms all across Idaho.
Sitting there typing at a computer can't really take my mind anywhere.
Shay McGuire spent several years in CTE classes like engineering and robotics through high school and college at Boise State.
Projects that I'm going to enjoy and doing projects that are going to push me towards what I want to do.
The Idaho Division of Career Technical Education trains industry workers to become teachers in secondary and post-secondary programs and connects students to the workforce, among other things.
They prepare our food. They grow our food.
So this is an argument we hear over and over and over again. I already know what they're driving at is without the government doing this and funding this, how
it's the mainstream media.
How could
That's
we
every story
possibly ever train a workforce? How will companies ever be able to handle employing people if the government doesn't do everything for them?
Well, and they're only getting 99% of their budget. So because of these 1% cuts, Idaho's not going to have a workworce.
That's right. Yeah.
See how that works?
I think this is correct me if I'm wrong. I'm jumping the gun here, but I assume this is about the Idaho Launch Program that's going to have to get some cuts because it's huge budget line item, and it's crony capitalism at its finest, the Idaho Launch Program. And they have to cut pieces of it because they got to cut something somewhere, and so this one's on the block.
I can't remember.
By the way, for the record, the Idaho state budget has grown 66% in 7 years. That's insane. That is absurd. There is no justification for that at all.
Of us on the day-to-day. We all live in homes. Those are built by people that are construction professionals.
So without the government doing K-Tech stuff, we won't have homes.
No homes.
Of us on the day-to-day.
How did we ever build homes before this?
We didn't. We just constructed ramshackle log cabins on our farmsteads in the middle of nowhere.
Ironically, we actually had an easier time building homes. They were less expensive, so were the materials, and so was the labor.
Construction professionals.
State Administrator Peter Reese says 69% of Idaho high schoolers take at least one CTE course before they graduate. But that current and future students, adults and high schoolers, may not get the same experience McGuire did.
When we make these cuts, we end up eliminating opportunities for young people throughout the state, adults throughout the state to...
Fine, cut something else.
You want to guess what his Peter Reese's salary is?
This fellow, I would wager in the 150 to 175 range, 100,000.
You're right in there. He makes over 160, and that does not include benefits or retirement.
Which then means he's roughly close to 200 grand, because also platinum benefits for guys like this who work this job for 20, 30 years and then retire with absolutely platinum bennies and a pension that never quits.
Prepare for more lecture from him about how we need more money.
Throughout the state, adults throughout the state to receive their initial training, upskilling where necessary.
Reese says his agency is freezing positions that mentor teachers and reducing its spending on supplies and equipment for classrooms starting this.
We're going to take away the kids' paintbrushes. What do you think about that? Oh, wait, excuse me. Let me just go hammer my it's Friday, so I just got my paycheck, so I'll be right back. I just need to run to the bank.
Supplies and equipment for classrooms starting this fiscal year. It comes after the state's Joint Finance Appropriation Committee, or JFAC, approved ongoing 5% budget cuts for most state agencies earlier this month.
Yeah,
dude,
certainly.
This dude makes over 13 grand a month.
For most state agencies earlier this month.
Yeah, certainly concerned.
For the division of CTE, that's upwards of 4...
I need money.
Division of CTE, that's upwards of $4 million in cuts.
It's a very big number.
Reese says without that...
So is your salary.
Yeah.
Looks a lot different.
For the culinary students, it's food. If they can't afford to purchase those things, then they're working off of...
You want to talk about not being able to afford food? Why don't you talk to any working family in Idaho, dude?
Purchase those things, then they're working off of worksheets and imagined planning. For those medical technicians and others, then you're dealing with needles and components related to, simple things like learning how to draw blood.
Reese warns the ripple effects of the cuts could lead to lower teacher retention, a less prepared workforce, and a loss of homegrown talent.
If we can't prepare Idahoans for Idaho jobs, then we're going to have to import people from out of state.
And even if money comes back in a few years, Reese says the damage won't be quick to undo.
I don't know, man. Why not just give yourself a raise and import some unauthorized workers?
You know what they need is to form another committee. They probably should hire like a vice president or two or three, a couple of vice principals. Like they need more administration because
so they can figure out how to keep the culinary students from having to wave frying pans around that don't have anything in them.
Just continue the model that public education has been pursuing for the last 50 years, which is a 200% increase in administrative costs and staff. Meanwhile, test scores remain flat or lower. And oh, by the way, attendance remains flat or lower. Now, I'm pro trade schools. I am pro, anybody who has any, intelligence should be pro trade schools and things like that. But something's got to give if we're doing it via government programs. So if you don't want to cut that, which if we guess we had to pick and I got to choose, or if we all got to choose and, they put 20 things on the ballot, basically saying, okay, something's got to give, or, pick 5 and we'll cut the 5 you pick. I wouldn't pick the K-Tech stuff. That actually has some value to it. There's a lot of crony capitalism going on with the launch program, and there's a lot of nonsense and bullshit and people who have a lot of sway getting what they want out of it, and I disagree with that. But fine, cut something else then, right? Something's got to give. But of course, it's not their salary ever.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
I know it's the same stuff all the time, but it's always the same story. It's these people that are making 200% more than the average salary in the state, lecturing us about how they're going to take away the kids' paintbrushes if we cut their budget by 1%. Yeah. It's very tiresome.
It really is a total lack of creativity. But it's the old adage, if government if we let the government teach our kids how to walk, it would be a generation or less. And we'd turn around and be like, but without my government, how will kids learn how to walk? And that's what you see every time, over and over and over again. Pick a topic, it's the same thing. These people who make 6 figures turn around and lecture us about how it can't be done if the government's not doing it, which is nonsense. It is utter and complete nonsense. If there's a need, the need will be filled. The market finds a way always, and usually way faster, way less expensive, not perfect, but certainly better than the state can ever hope to achieve.
The thing about this deal that really scares me the most is our children.
I'm scared of the children too.
They won't. They won't have. I just imagine the kids in the culinary school. They're learning how to let's say use a wok and make a stir fry, and they're swishing the wok around to flip the. But there's nothing in the. There's nothing in the wok.
Damn it! If only I had some food to put in this thing.
Well, we had to take away your food.
1% cuts. Oh, by the way, I meant to tell you earlier is that I apologize for the lack of. To you, Scott, and to our listeners for the lack of Scott's shots over the last 3 episodes. This will be a 3rd episode without a Scott's shots, and I promise I'm going to make it up to you next week. I will be ready. I actually pulled a topic for today and then realized because I was traveling light, I came down from my house today and traveling super light because I'm on crutches and everything hurts and I can't carry stuff. I went, well, I won't have my laptop or anything I need to pull up the story and do the couple of things I wanted to do. So next week, but I haven't forgotten.
I don't want to hear your excuses.
I have pretty good ones.
Yeah, they're more like reasons in your case. I'll give you that. Okay. Given the circumstances. Dude, I'm lucky number 13 over here.
I am happy to be through that first week of surgery, man. That first week of post-op was, it was for the record books of miserable.
Well, I hope that for the next. I mean, I'm like 100%. I'm 5-0 on Scott shots. I've yet to miss one, so I'm looking forward to you continuing to bring them. I'm curious to know what the first one I'm going to actually miss is. Well. All right. Thank you, everybody. Please remember us at noidshow.com. If you are enjoying this program, please return value. It's the value for value model, and it works when y'all embrace it. Thank you to those who have, and thank you in advance to those who are contemplating it. Until the next time, from Post Falls, I'm Scott.
And I'm Paul. Taxation is theft.